Hello, good evening, and welcome to Yes Chatteries 777. Well, I'm making a little intro video for the next band that I'm going to talk about. I've talked about a few bands. I've covered Vandergraaf Generator, Genesis, Gentle Giant, and Jethro Tull. So I'm kind of doing a lot of the bands that originated in that classic proggy period. So I figured I'd carry on that trend, and I'm going to talk about another major player in that whole scene. I'm going to talk about Yes. Yes! I'm going to talk about Yes. Yeah, obviously they're a very, very influential band. They've had a history of very illustrious members. Very, very talented people have come and gone through Yes, and so yeah, they're kind of an essential band to talk about. This one's going to be a little bit different from my other videos, though. Unfortunately, um, for whatever reason, I actually don't own all of the Yes albums like I do the Tull albums, Genesis albums, Vandergraaf, what have you. There's a lot of bands that I felt inclined to collect the entire discography. But for whatever reason, yes, obviously there's that classic period. There's that classic period where they were an absolutely essential band and an integral part of the scene. They were a part of that prog scene. And obviously I've got all those albums, and I really love a lot of those albums. But things just kind of got confusing in the '80s with Yes, didn't they? I mean, obviously with 90125, we got Trevor Rabin into the band, and they made Big Generator, which is there's still a bit of coherency at that point. But once the Union tour happened, and Yes was just this kind of corporate entity of like 30 members, and the album Union didn't even have any of it. It just it gets a little too confusing for me. Although I do own the latter. I do own the latter, and I think no, that's the only kind of recent Yes album I own. So the point is, what I'm trying to say is that instead of doing all of the entire collection with Yes, I'm going to talk about the Yes albums from the Yes album 71. I'll confirm that when I do that album. From the Yes album through to either Drama or 90125. Unfortunately, I don't own the first two. I don't own the self-titled Yes album, and I don't own Time in a Word. That might be sacrilegious. I'm sure there's people out there saying, you must own Time in a Word. I've heard the title track. I've heard a couple of songs off the album, but... and obviously it's notable because Time in a Word has the orchestra on it. But yeah, and for whatever reason, I've just never felt too inclined to go much to look into those early albums. I don't know why. I really don't, because that main run of albums, the Yes album, Fragile, Close to the Edge, Topographic Oceans, Relayer, Going for the One, Tormato, Drama. Those main run of albums, I think they are essential. And if I'm talking about prog bands, I should probably talk about Yes. Obviously notable, one of my all-time favorite drummers is Bill Bruford, so he played a very, very important role in those early years. And again, another reason why, I don't know why I don't own those first two albums. I really don't know why I don't own those, because I love Bruford. Although, to me, on the whole, Bruford became the Bruford we know and love when he joined King Crimson. I see that anyway. I mean, obviously, his contributions to Yes are, he was this mind-boggling drummer, with his mind-boggling technicality and precision and whatnot. But he changed quite a bit after he met Jamie Muir and King Crimson, and that's a whole other story. So that's notable. Of course, we got Chris Squire on the bass, who's the only guy that's been in all the Yes lineups. He's a fantastic bass player. May he rest in peace. Very sad last year. Steve Howe, there's all these really, really great musicians. I'm the member I'm probably least a fan of. I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest fan of John Anderson. I respect his voice, but I've got problems with his lyrics. But I'm not going to be a downer. I try never to be a downer. I'm going to talk about the classic Yes albums. I've said this too many times. You get the idea. So stay tuned for more. I'm going to do the Yes albums. Starting from the Yes album and going to either Drama or 90125. 90125 is probably worth talking about, I think. And I know that album pretty well. So that's the plan. We hope you stick around. Hope you enjoy. And stay tuned for more. So we'll see you all in the near future. Cheers.